Could you climb an 1,000-foot mountain? For us in the Pacific Northwest, this doesn't seem like too long of a hike. But for the folks living in Hamilton County, Ohio, 1,045 feet describes the highest peak in their county. Colloquially known as Mount Rumpke, the hill hides a secret. It's actually not a mountain. It's a landfill that receives 2 million tons of garbage annually, according to their website. The worst part about landfills like Rumpke across the country is the amount of recyclable material mixed in to the garbage. According to National Geographic's Laura Parker, in 2018, a whopping 91% of plastic isn't recycled, the majority of it residing in landfills. The truth is, America's recycling program requires further development and is not effective. The dysfunctionality of the U.S. plastics recycling program has been an issue for decades. I'll start by sharing the issues with our current system. Next, we'll look at some companies that have taken steps towards a more sustainable business. And finally, we'll look to the future to see what's at stake. Even someone doing their best to live a zero-waste lifestyle will leave a carbon footprint. Over time, these have compiled together and led to something more akin to the Grand Canyon. It's no secret that the way we live our lives produces trash. Whether you have or have never considered where your waste is taken, it's important to understand current waste management and recycling practices. While you might think that most plastics are commonly recycled and reused, you would be incorrect. Not all plastics are made equal. According to a recent Greenpeace report who tracked plastic production and recovery in 2018, the only plastic product processed by all U.S. material recovery facilities was plastic bottles. But it gets worse. If you flip over a bottle, you will see a number between 1 and 7 inside of the recycling triangle. Put simply, the higher the number, the harder it is and more expensive it is to recycle whatever derivative of plastic that bottle is made out of. According to the same Greenpeace report, in most cases, numbers past 2 are not worth it to break down. Either the process is too long or expensive to make business sense. America's old solution was to compress these high-number plastics into shipping containers and send them overseas, primarily to China. However, in 2018, China banned the import of foreign waste because they're struggling to process it like everyone else. Now, in the US, we're forced to see that many of these types of plastics were never truly intended to be recycled and will require all new processing systems to deal with this sudden surplus. This will hopefully lead to better practices being developed, rather than these reusable materials being put into a landfill or incinerated for power. According to an EPA report in 2018, out of 35,680 tons of plastic waste, only 3,020 tons were recycled. That's less than 10% of our plastics being recycled. Looking at pollution with industry as some big bad guy is an oversimplification. While many companies seem to produce with reckless abandon, others have realized that we all exist on the same planet and have begun simple practices that build sustainability. While it may be unrealistic for a business to switch to a completely carbon neutral model, there are a few that have risen to the challenge with plans to either curb the impact of products already in circulation, in addition to making plans going forward to further develop sustainable practices. It's a strange thought that someone could step on your Legos many years after your death. Being made completely out of plastic, Legos and other toys like them are likely to linger long past their original owner. Recently, the Danish company has begun tests of a Lego recycling program in the US. After being carefully inspected, the Legos are either deemed fit to be sent off to nonprofits like Teach for America or Boston Boys and Girls Club. Those deemed unfit for recirculation can be turned into new bricks or the molds that shape them. PepsiCo is one of the largest plastic producers in the world and has recently taken pledges to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Their plan is achieving a 20% reduction in greenhouse gas by 2030, according to a press release in 2019. According to their website, their sustainable plastic vision is rooted in 3 pillars: reducing plastic, boosting plastic recycling rates, and reinventing plastic packaging. It is clear to Pepsi that U.S. recycling systems are not effective and will require further expansion if the incineration that produces these greenhouse gases is to stop. Patagonia is a shining example of a sustainable business, with repair programs for all their clothing and a complete and transparent recycling program, as well as a self-imposed 1% tax that goes to grassroots environmental groups. Going to their website, Patagonia Action Works will show 1,547 grantees who received money from this 1% tax. These grants cover everything from seabird research to programs that prevent food waste. Patagonia has demonstrated an awareness that is surprisingly rare from companies of its size, and serves as a beacon of a company with loyal customers who want to support a forward-thinking business. So while our governmental recycling programs may not be as effective as advertised, there are a few companies adopting widespread sustainable practices, acknowledging the damage that their products are capable of. It will take further development of both business manufacturing and governmental processing to prevent further damage. Looking to the future can be unnerving in the context of pollution. However, if true change is to be made, we must accept the fact that humanity got us here and will have to get us out. When it comes to pollution, it's hard to know where the line of irreversible damage is. The issue being, we have already passed several of these lines. Humans have led to countless species extinctions. According to a report from the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, which was established in 2012 by the United Nations Environmental Program, 1 million species globally will be threatened with extinction within decades. If the US continues to pretend its recycling program is adequate, we will continue to damage our planet and biodiversity. I hope that an explanation of how we currently process our municipal waste gave you reason to be disappointed in our current practices. First, I showed you not as much is being recycled as you think. After that, I described a few businesses that have taken the first necessary steps and gave you context for the path we're on. While it may seem like plastic pollution is too large, any methods to control or stop further pollution could not be of higher priority. You can choose to buy Type 1 or Type 2 plastic products, as they're the easiest to recycle, support companies that have demonstrated sustainable practice, and continue to develop practices without falling back into our old tradition of landfilling. So the next time you buy a piece of plastic, consider it may outlive you. Thank you.